The final step in your toe-up socks is to finish the top of the cuff with a flexible cast off. The cuff has to be flexible enough to stretch over your foot and ankle, so you need a cast off, as you can see here, that is very stretchy to allow for that. So in this demonstration I'm going to show you how to work Jeny's surprisingly stretchy cast off. So going back to my mini sock sample now that I've finished knitting the little baby sock, we did the short row heel, I've now knitted the ribs for my cuff. For this particular cast off I've decided to do it just as the knit stitch. The cast off can be worked in rib stitch as well, but the easiest way to learn this, certainly if you haven't done it before, is to work it just as a knit stitch. So although I've been working in rib, I'm going to work this last round as a knit round. So I'm going to start the round by knitting the first stitch, and then I'm going to now do a yarn over, but from the wrong side. So normally if you were doing a yarn over you'd come forward and over, but for this particular cast off we're going to take the yarn over the right needle from back to front, which is the reverse way to the way you would normally work a yarn over. And then I'm going to knit the next stitch. And now I'm going to use my left needle to pick up the yarn over and the previous stitch and lift them both over the new stitch and off the needle in the way that you would normally lift the stitch over for a chain cast off. So I now do my reverse yarn over, knit the next stitch, and then pick up the yarn over and the stitch and lift it over the new stitch. And that's what I'm going to do for the whole of the cast off. So again it's a reverse yarn over and then knit the next stitch and lift the yarn over and the stitch over. What that does is it provides extra yarn to allow it to be flexible, but it doesn't make the top edge flare too much. If you just cast off very loosely, which would give you some stretch, you'd find that the top edge might flare out. This particular cast off has a lot of stretch, but it also pulls back so the shape at the top doesn't become too distorted. So again, I'll just do a couple more demonstrations. So it's reverse yarn over, knit the next stitch, lift the yarn over and the stitch over, so you've got one stitch on your right needle, yarn over, reverse yarn over should I say, knit the next stitch, lift the two loops over, reverse yarn over, sorry I'll move my hand out of the way to make sure you see it, reverse yarn over, knit the next stitch, lift the two loops over the stitch just made. So you continue to do that all the way around the row until you get to the end of the row. When you've worked your very last one, you'll obviously have one stitch left on your right needle, so you'd cut your yarn, pull the yarn, you can either pull the yarn up through or pull the yarn through the loop and then sew in your end. That's Jeny's surprisingly stretchy cast off.